Without content ideas, you can no longer create content and potentially no longer run your business or whatever you're creating content for. So having a way to come up with infinite content ideas is probably the best thing you can do. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that in 5 simple ways in this video. And we're just going to get straight into it and start off at number 5. And that's going on a website called Medium. This is where people post blogs or newsletters or whatever you want to call it, but they're well written with some great headlines. And you can either take the concept of their blog and turn it into a video, or you can take the headline and use it as like a hook. Now, I rarely do this, and sometimes when I go onto Medium, it does spark other ideas instead of taking the concept. So like you might see 7 ways to win people over psychologically. I might turn that into 7 ways how to make people watch your videos, or something like that, or like 5 ways or 4 ways, whatever I can think of. It just sparks more ideas. So Medium is not a bad way, but it is my last resort. Oh, and it's probably good to mention it is free, but there is a paid tier. It's only about £2-3 a month, which I do actually pay for because people actually write some good stuff, and you can actually just genuinely learn from the stuff that they write. Anyway, moving on to number 4. This is searching for topics using TikTok. And as you should know, TikTok does have a search bar. So if you go onto TikTok search and then type in your niche, more importantly, probably a topic within your niche, you'll see 3 dots in the top right. Depends on like if TikTok's updated their software or not, or whatever. But you'll see the 3 dots, click on it, you'll see filters. Now, this is the important part. You can choose relevance or likes or like count. There's a third option, I'm pretty sure. But I would probably stick to relevance, maybe like count, just to see, you know, how well the video actually performed with likes. And then I would probably choose this month, this week, and sometimes this year. But just depending on this year, like you could find a video in January. We're in August. You might see a video in January that has a huge like count, but it was only relevant to January because maybe that news was relevant at the time it was popping. And now if you made a video about it, it's literally irrelevant. And everyone will be like, why is he even covering this topic? This happened 8 months ago. So yeah, just be careful with that. But other than that, you can find some great winning content ideas and some concepts. You could see what's really working. So like if you go on there and you filtered it out and you could see like 4 videos in the same kind of format style, you'd be like, oh, so this is what really works in my, industry, my niche. You could probably take the format, make your own videos and just test how it performs. And if it performs well, just run with it. I always say once you find something that works, you want to double down on it. You don't want to find something that works and be like, hey, I'm gonna leave that thing that works and then try this because this could also work. I'm not saying don't try anything else, but stick to what works, double down on it. And then if you want to try something else that could possibly work, throw that into the mix, but always, stick to what fucking works, bro. And then moving on to number 3, it's similar to the TikTok search, but instead you want to find 5 creators, preferably on Instagram, that are in your niche or niches, and another 5 that are not in your niche at all. So for me, I'm in like content and tech and sort of self-development. And I would find creators that are maybe in business, finance, what other niches in there? Probably cooking, I don't know, just anything, right? These are 5 that are outside of my niche. Then I'll find 5 that are in my niche. But the reason I say outside of your niche is because sometimes there'll be like video concepts that you can take or formats, and you could think, oh, maybe I can implement that into my style of video for my niche or industry, and then it could literally work just as well. And I've done that with one of my short form videos recently, and it actually did do pretty well. And I was just like, you know what, fair enough. It was like five creators that turned me up financially, and I made a video saying 5 creators that made me better creatively or something like that, and it did pretty well. And the reason I say you want to find 5 within your niche is because then you can see what's actually working within your niche and you can stay up to date, and maybe they'll drop a video of relevant news that you maybe didn't know, and then you can go from there pretty much. The reason I said Instagram is just because it's my main platform at the moment, but if your main platform's TikTok, you could also do TikTok. If it's YouTube, you probably want to stick to YouTube. And I'd also say focus on 2 platforms at a time until you've actually got to a certain level. Then you can probably, diversify your content. Maybe you can add TikTok into there. But short form, really, I know there's like a few discrepancies, or whatever you want to call it, across platforms. So like certain things work better on TikTok than they do on Instagram and then YouTube Shorts. But really and truly, if you made a video on Instagram, you could post it to TikTok and maybe YouTube Shorts, depending on the time limit of your video. Moving on to number 2, and that's finding relevant news that links back to your niche or content area, whatever you want to call it. And the reason this is important to come up with infinite ideas, because every week there's something new in your industry, no matter what industry you're in, whether it's finance, whether it's content, whether it's business, whether it's cooking. Like there's some news, tech, there's some news to be spoken about. And if you can speak about that news and then maybe link it back to your stuff, or maybe you can just speak about that news and inform people, that's still content right there. And the fact that you're speaking about the news, people know that you're up to date with it. You actually are informed on the latest news. They'll probably trust you more as well and build up your authority. So yeah. And plus, how can you ever run out if there's flipping new news every week? You probably could make 1 or 2 videos on the news every single week. And the last one, and it's probably the best one, and you'll probably draw the most ideas from it, and it's yourself. As you know, you should have 3 content blocks by now. One is your main block, your knowledgeable one, the one that you don't need a script for. If you're like doing a YouTube video, you could just have bullet points and you can talk about it for 10 minutes plus, right? And this knowledge probably pays you as well, because it's probably like your expertise. The second and third block could be an interest and a passion. So my knowledgeable core block is content creation. And the key here is keeping it as broad as possible, because content creation, if you break it down, there's scripting, there's editing, there's filming, there's ideation. Yeah, that's just off the top of my head. And then in my passion block, we have tech. Again, keep this as broad as possible. I could have simply just like niched down to Apple, but really and truly with tech, I can now cover Apple, I can cover Samsung, I could cover like PCs, I can cover literally anything within like consumer tech, because that's what I actually enjoy. It's your passion, right? Like you want to keep it broad, but you don't want to go into stuff that you're not passionate about. So like tech could also cover coding, but hey, I'm not a coder. I've never coded. I don't think I've got an interest in coding at all. So I wouldn't dive into it, but I'll still have that broad block of tech. And then my interest is self-development. Like obviously I watch entertainment videos, but I'd also watch self-development videos, like how to stay disciplined, how to wake up early, even though I don't really watch that stuff no more, because it's kind of like it's just the same regurgitated stuff. But if there's something that can help improve my mental, improve my physical, like even fitness can count as self-development, right? So you want to keep them as broad as possible, and then you can break them down into smaller niches or super niches, whatever you want to call it, and then you'll have content right there. So if I'm going to break down content creation, I can break down that block into, let's say, scripting. Then I could go through scripting frameworks or hooks or CTAs. If I break down filming, I could break down camera gear, microphones, audio equipment, cables. What else is there in filming? I don't know how I use like Adobe Audition to record this mic and then sync it in post. I could break it down. I can break the block down into editing. And then within editing, maybe I could break down softwares, Premiere Pro, Final Cut, CapCut. Within editing, I can break down tutorials on how to edit better, some neat tricks to make your videos look nice, how to edit faster, presets, stuff like that. And once you break it down, it's really simple. But then you're probably thinking, okay, you've broken it down, but how the hell do I get ideas from that? Like, okay, Premiere Pro, editing, tutorials, but I don't know what tutorials to make. All you need to do is think to a week ago, 3 months ago, a year ago, and then possibly 3 years ago, or whenever you started. Think back to each point and think, what did you not know then that you know now? And you can make that into a tutorial, a step-by-step, a list video, whatever it is. And then that's your ideas right there. And you can do that for every single block that you break down, and you can think back to a week, 3 months, a year, 3 years, or whenever you started. And that's like 3 or 4 checkpoints. And it's just you educating your previous self. And if you've been there, the chances are that other people are currently there or was there, and they'll resonate with your content as well. Oh, if you're a creator or an entrepreneur that's looking to build their personal brand, I've got a waitlist for one-to-one content coaching that's going to be released in September. So sign up for the waitlist down below and you'll be first to be notified when the slots are actually live. And depends on when you're watching this video, you can get in on the pre-sale of the Consistent Creator Blueprint, which is just my entire content system. That's going to have my entire system in a Notion template, my preset pack built into that, so you can download it. I'll show you exactly how to use the presets as well to make your editing faster, but also better. And then I'll also have a mini course on how to go from nothing to a great video.